Stronger together. Stronger, stronger together.
Hi, I'm Karel, and welcome to Karel Life in Segments. I am back where I started. We are ending season 3, back in front of this very dumpster that I began season 1 in, literally in this dumpster. You can find those online, season 1, episode 1, because I was going to talk about homelessness. And I would like to think in the years that I've been on the television that the situation has gotten better. Yeah, well, of late, the unthinkable has become absolutely plausible, and the unimaginable has become completely reality. So that's not the case. Now, you know, it's funny, when we just were about to start, I looked in here, and it's disgusting. Oh, God, it's horrible. And yet there are people who would see the piece of raisin bread lying there and probably eat it. And that's sad for me. You know, on the other side of this fence right here on the other side of this fence, are my mom and dad. And I don't mean they're sitting there waiting for me to come back to the other side of the fence. I mean they're in a bench. Their ashes are in a bench on the other side of this fence. And they know about homelessness, my mom and dad, because they were homeless many times growing up. Many times we had to live with relatives, or we had to stay at a Salvation Army shelter once, and they put the men and women on different sides. I had never been away from my mother. I was like 10 years old. We slept on cots. It stank. It was horrible. We knew what it was to go from town to town across the country and stop at the St. Vincent de Paul or other agencies, the VFW, and they would give us vouchers for gas and vouchers for hotel, voucher to get from town to town. Sometimes they'd give us big logs of cheese and bologna. And we ate bologna and cheese every day at that cheap little hotel. They gave us a voucher for 5 days in a hotel and a bag of groceries, which was a loaf of bread, a lump of cheese, like 3 pounds of bologna. It was absolutely remarkable. So my mom and I joked for years to come that we were going to turn into a bologna sandwich. So my mom and dad have been homeless. I've been homeless, and I absolutely know what it's like to feel invisible. And let's be real, you'd like the homeless to be invisible. If you're watching, a lot of you would like the homeless problem to be solved. You wish there was some fix that you could feel good about, that you could fund or write a check to. You wish you could get everyone out on the streets with mental illness taken care of, you know, brought to some sort of institution. You wish, you know, you do. You sit in your house and think, I would like for them to get care. It just seems right. Well, where are they going to get it? Because right now they get it in the jails, okay? That's where they get it right now, in jail. That's where they get their care. You would like for them to be housed. You'll start with little groups that you feel better about housing, the veterans. We can all agree we should house the veterans. That's always amused me, that there's classism even in homelessness. If you're a gay teen, or you're a veteran, or you're whatever, there might be a program for you to get off the street. But if you're just a normal, average, everyday guy and you're out there, well, you could be hosed. And we'd all like it to be solved. Every one of us would. But what is the answer? I don't know. I know the current administration has absolutely no idea how to solve it, because homelessness to them is just another blight to step over. I don't know about future administrations and how they're going to solve it. I'm 55 this year. This is 2017. Will it be solved in my lifetime? No, absolutely not. So how do the homeless feel, and where'd they go? In my city, they sort of closed down where they were, and they all had to spread into the neighborhoods. And now you go to residential parks in the middle of neighborhoods, and there's people sleeping on my walk in the gazebo. The other day, not making this up, I had blood drawn from here, and I bruised. I don't think it's still there, or I'd show you. And I was walking Ember, and we got to the gazebo, and I sat down because of my back. And the guy next to me looked at my arm, and he said to me, hey, do you slam? I've got some stuff. In my park, in Rose Park, I was asked because of a bruise on my arm if I slam, because that's the neighborhood. That's life. Homelessness is not going to go away until we do more than want to wish it away. We all want to wish it away. We all want it to go away. We all agree it should go away. We all agree everyone should be housed. We know it's cheaper to put people in houses than it is to do what we're doing now. We all agree on this, and yet so little is being done. And while there is some stuff being done, I don't think there's enough. Let's go check. We're going to go back to where I filmed the second part of this segment, downtown Long Beach. And we're going to see how it's changed down there and see if we can talk to anybody down there. And if they'll talk to us, because now they're everywhere. And unfortunately, all of you don't want them in your backyard. Let's say we want to start a shelter. Would you want a shelter in your neighborhood? Because I have a drug rehab right down here, and I'll tell you it brings nothing but trouble. Nothing but trouble to this alley. Oh, there's drug busts back here. There's dead bodies found back here. We've had our identity stolen from back here. By who? By someone down there at the drug rehab. Do you want a homeless shelter in your neighborhood? You want to bring these people in there at night? It is tough. All I know is when you've been homeless like me, or like my mom and dad in the bench on the other side of this wall, you think a whole lot differently about the people out there. So I'm going to go out there and talk to some more of them, and maybe you'll think a little differently about them when you see them. And unfortunately, no matter where you live, you're still seeing them. Okay, so from the alley to downtown Long Beach, that's where I went in season 1, episode 1 of Life in Segments, and that's where you'll find me now, 3 seasons later, right here in this park. A lot has changed. You know, this used to be so futuristic that it was used for, oh my God, Geek Out, my favorite TV show at the time, Battlestar Galactica, the original one with Dirk Benedict and Richard Hatch. Hello! I would later see Richard Hatch naked at a 24-hour fitness, and oh my God, my dreams were fulfilled. But I mean, hey, frack that. So we came down here, and it was totally filled with homeless people. Well, now, 3 years later, as you can hear, and it's bothering Ember, a lot is going on. But where are the homeless? In Long Beach, this is where the homeless were. He ain't gonna stop, honey. In Long Beach, this is where the homeless were. So what did they do with them? Did they find them all homes? Are they all now in some sort of rehab? Unfortunately, while they did do some groundbreaking programs for veterans, and this is a veterans memorial behind me, the rest of the people who weren't veterans were sort of still left out in the cold, quite literally, as this winter we had an actual winter, and our, what do they call them, armories, could not open because of some paperwork snafu, so people actually had to sleep in the cold. Now, this was thought to be so futuristic that it was used in sci-fi, so why, just 30 years later, are we spending over $500 million to redo it? Your guess is as good as mine, but to the people that lived here, they've got no place to go. Now, we're going to get up and we're going to walk over to where they've migrated to. And as you'll see, it wasn't much of a migration. And as this part of my city gentrifies, and these high-rises go in upwards of $500,000 per condo, rents upward of $2,500 to $6,000 a month for that building right over there, what's left for these people? Not a lot. Now, I have not gone around the corner to see what's over there. It could be empty. The police could have moved all these people out for the construction. I don't know, but we're gonna go take a look and find out, because this is where they were in season 1, and now they're not here. So where are they? Come on, let's walk. Because this is where this used to be all the homeless park here. In fact, are there people still in there? Did they go in behind the fence? No. Okay. Because I wonder where they went. Come on, Miss M. Because they've dug all that up in there. This used to be our library, totally underground. The library is still open during all of this, too. That building in front of us is our city hall. It's going to be rebuilt, so the mayor will have a new office. Not our current mayor. I don't think it's going to be done that fast. So City Hall here is going to be torn down, and all of this is going to be rebuilt. It'll be partial use, commercial, city. They'll have condos, lots of money. God, just to sleep there. Where do you live? In the library porch? I don't know what we're gonna see around this corner, I don't. Because they clear them all out. Today's the King Parade. How funny. On Martin Luther King's weekend, we hurt the poor. Come on, Miss M. Hello. How are you today? So in front of us now are condos that sell between 400 and $1 million. And what they look at out their front window is pretty appalling, actually. But what are you gonna do? I think they closed it. I think they kicked all the homeless out. Where'd they put them? Where'd they go? The riverbed. Have you been to the LA riverbed?
Yeah.
Oh, all the tent camps that are there?
So many homeless camps springing up.
Because they were here and now they're gone. They were on this sidewalk and now there is no sidewalk. See, they were here. See? They used to live in this park here, right. And then they closed the park down and everybody moved over here.
Right.
And now where'd they move, do you know? It's so sad. There's no place for them to be.
I know.
Are you yourself homeless? I was for years a day, no shame in it.
Yeah, I'm kind of homeless.
So now with this being taken, and this also gave people a sense of community, and now with this gone, where does everybody meet and talk?
I know. I guess they just try churches or something like that.
Those opened late this year, the Armory and stuff. There was some paperwork problem, and right in December they couldn't open them, and it was freezing outside. It was disgusting.
Yeah. Well, I eventually settled here, up in northern Long Beach. I lived up there, and they had, I'm an artist too, a musician, and they had 2 pianos where I practiced, and I have a classical piece, the Anthem for the Christ.
Losing this library and this area as a social outlet, as a meeting place, as a place to give out information amongst the community, how has that damaged and impacted the people who relied upon it, the homeless people who would come here and for safety or for information? How has that damaged that community?
Well, I think it's given them, the morale is down. And...
Well, I hope your situation improves, and I hope that we have more to offer people who are down than dirt sidewalks. I really do.
Right, thank you.
I really do. All right, I'm going to sit down because me and Ember are tired. Hey, it's Karel, and welcome to Karel's Life in Segments. Can you believe we are almost done with season 3? Sweet baby Jesus on the Little Cross of Mary, and they said it couldn't be done. I don't know who they are, but they're probably not at the network anymore. And I am. Anyway, I'm in a mood. We got to talk about Moto TV. It's one of my favorite segments, and we really thank Gear Up for Every Ride for being one of our sponsors of season 3. But really, I don't want to joke about this segment too much because I have people who have been injured in motorcycle crashes. I'll never forget standing right over there, receiving a phone call that my niece Heather had been involved in a motorcycle crash. And I looked up at the photo of Andy that was above the door, her uncle, my late husband. And I felt so powerless at that moment because they didn't tell us what was wrong with her. She was in the ICU of St. Mary's Hospital, Long Beach. She had been there for hours. They had no way of notifying us because her phone broke in the fall. And she didn't have any numbers committed to memory. If you're a motorcyclist or if you're anybody, why don't you at least have a few phone numbers still left in your mind, okay? Can you not leave everything to your smartphone? It might break, and you might need to call somebody. Carry written phone numbers in your wallet. Should you ever be rendered unconscious, they could really, help save your life. So I'll never forget standing right there and not knowing what the extent of her injuries were. I knew that we had geared her up. I knew that she had the right jacket and she had the right everything, but was it enough? Well, it was enough. She did break her wrist and her collarbone, but she did fly 40 feet through the air and then hit the ground and slide 30 feet more, ending up smacking into a giant tire that had fallen into the ground from a giant truck. So she went through all that and lived because she was geared up for every ride. So let's go down and see how we can keep you that safe. Okay, y'all, about the butchest thing that I do in my life is watch MotoGP. I could have cared less when the Cubs won the Super Bowl. What was it? Some baseball thing. World Series, that's what it was. I could really cared less. I was seeing Hedwig and the Angry Inch that night. I don't really like sports, but MotoGP, I love it. The colors, the sounds. It is an incredible sport to watch. And everywhere around the world, except the United States, people like Valentino Rossi, Ben Spies, they're superstars. Over here, not so much. Now, the reason the track is important to us here in America, and particularly riders, is because what happens out there trickles down to us in terms of safety. On the track, things happen that fast, and riders have to be uber protected from the get-go. The bikes have to be the most fine-tuned machines that there are. The track makes technology much better for all riders, and this really pertains to automobiles or anything. We'll get stuff from the military that the military has used, and then we adapt it. We often down-adapt technology. We do it at the track all the time. Juliana actually rides on the track, correct? You are a track rider. You are out there.
Also, yeah.
Yeah, you get out there and you, how fast do you go?
Like the fastest I went was 196.
Almost 200 miles per hour?
Yeah.
Girl, I haven't gone that fast, that's fast. And when you're out there on the track, as I said, things happen fast. So you guys dress in stuff that they then sort of dumb down. I don't say dumb down for us, but we don't wear quite as much of it. But you guys wear a lot. Now, you're in a one-piece riding suit right now, which is not unusual to see on the track, but it's also not unusual to see out on the streets sometime, depending if you're, I rode one to San Francisco, wore one to San Francisco. It was very comfortable. Most of them are tailor-made, and I loved that I was naked under it. It was so much fun. I would drive by people going, I'm naked under here. And they never knew. But you're in a one-piece riding suit. Now, one thing that you guys do on the track, which is terrifying to me, you guys can see it here in this picture, okay, over here. This is called knee sliding. That's what it's called. They go around the track, and the bike is at such a low angle that their knee touches. And you tell me it's for safety. That's to help you stay up, right?
Actually, it makes you, it actually helps you that the bike doesn't have to lean that much. So it's for your safety.
But you're so low to the ground already.
Well,
Girl, I would just, see, I've never had the urge to, that just to me, it's beautiful to watch, but it just seems so scary to do. When you're out there, obviously helmet, gloves, but a little bit more, like a little more on steroids, right? So if you are someone that buys a bike and you get invited to a track day, sometimes even when you buy the bike, the store will give you a free track day or something. If you were to go, if you were to take advantage of it, what are some things you should check off the checklist before you go?
definitely what you're gonna wear at the track. So there's a lot of different options that you can wear on the racetrack. For example, a one-suit is always like the best option, definitely. But there are also...
How much would a one-suit cost if someone was going to buy one?
I would say you can get them between 700 and...
Yeah, mine was 9, I think, so yeah.
Yeah, so...
Mine was sort of off the rack, though. They didn't have to measure me.
Yeah.
Oh, it's okay.
So it depends.
And now, would someone take their own bike to the... Do you take your own bike to the track?
Yeah, I have a BMW S1000RR, so
well, of
I
course
can...
you do.
So I can easily use it for going on a track, but also for just normal roads. But yeah.
And how much of what you guys wear, like this is for your backs, right?
Exactly.
How much of what you guys wear ends up being used by me, the casual street rider?
Yeah, you can just wear that on a normal street as well. This is actually, you just put it into your jacket in the back and it protects you perfectly, so it absorbs any impact.
And that's the big thing that's really illustrated on the track. All of our gear is designed to make us slide and absorb the impact.
Exactly.
When you're on a track, if you fall, so long as nothing's in your way, your gear will completely protect you. You'll get up, you'll walk away. They all do. If you watch MotoGP, they get in these wrecks, they slide, they get up, they're fine. And it's because their gear is working the way it's supposed to. Exactly. Let's talk about something we haven't talked about in the other segments that's important when it comes to a helmet. If you are ever in any kind of event with your helmet, if you ever fall off the bike with a helmet, or if you're in your garage or whatever and your helmet falls down, you should not keep that helmet, right?
Exactly.
You should replace it.
Yeah, you should replace it, because once this technology gets activated by the impact, you shouldn't use it again because it's not as safe anymore.
So Gear Up Every Ride recommends that let's say you just drop this from your bike and you drop it this way. Oh, sorry. Well, it's my hand. Made more noise than it really was. And you drop it this way onto the ground, onto your garage floor, whatever. There is stuff in here that's made to absorb the impact. Well, you've just impacted it. So it doesn't know that you weren't in a wreck. And so that's why you've got to be careful with these. They're not just to be thrown around willy-nilly and just tossed about. You must treat this almost like it's fragile, because in some ways it is. And when you're out on the track, let me ask you, do you race?
I have raced once,
Really?
but I mostly just train or just for fun, have a track day.
What age limit? I noticed kids go to the track like 19, that's a kid to me, 19, 20 years old, but so no one under 18 really.
Oh, I've
16?
seen kids younger than that. I think I don't know how it is in the US. I only written
Restrictive.
in Europe. Yeah. Okay, so I don't know about that.
Probably 16 then, I would imagine, but and some of that's a safety issue as well.
Yeah.
Karel's Pop Moto TV is part of Karel's Life in Segments because I feel it is important for America to be exposed to motorcycling. We're the only country where it's not one of the predominant forms of transportation, and it should be. You don't have to be afraid of getting on a bike if you do what? You gear up every ride. That's why she's here. That's why I came down. And whether it's a great helmet, a one-piece, or just a jacket and some jeans, some gloves, whatever it is, I don't care if you're just going to the grocery store, put it on. You'll thank me later. I am Karel. More information is found at gearupeveryride.com. Hey, it's Karel, and welcome to Life in Segments. You know, I often am inflated, meaning I'm big, I'm boisterous, I'm larger than life. Anyway, there's not that much of me anymore. I have to tell you that a lot of that's been an act recently because I have felt pretty damn deflated like you have. I have tried to be optimistic about the future. I really have. But every single day, more crap gets thrown at me, and I just don't know how to make any more crap sandwiches. So sometimes I am called upon in my job to entertain you, and I just don't know what to do. So earlier in the day today, here for taping of the show Life in Segments, they pointed the cameras at me and said, go, except I didn't have anywhere to go. And so here's where we went with that. Do I have another in me? I don't know that I have another in me. I really am. I've been deflated recently because I really do feel like we're in the last 100 years of the planet. And so I'm trying to figure out how I want to spend the last 20 or 30 years of my life. And I want to spend it having fun, of course. And I realized that to do that, I'm not going to be able to pay attention to one of my passions, which has been politics. I'm going to have to completely tune out. And that's sad because I like politics and political commentary. So that has really, I'm looking at a complete life change at 54 years old because I have to go back to where I was at 30. I have to go back to caring about Oscar-winning movies and directors and entertainment and movie stars and pop culture, and care less about the cabinet and the Congress and all of that, because it appears that the worst has happened, that the oligarchs have won, that Wall Street's moved in, and no one's stopping it. I mean, Obama's not screaming at the top of his voice, the sky has fallen. Hillary is not out screaming at the top of her voice, the sky has fallen. And so I'm sitting here at my home thinking, no one's out screaming that, oh my God, the electors have to stop this guy, or whatever he needs to be impeached already, or before he's even in office. Everyone's just acting like, how much is the 60-inch big screen going to be come next year? And so I'm trying to figure out what to do with the rest of my life and how to have fun and enjoy it, and how to go to being the oblivious people out there that seem to be happy. Because I can't seem to smile a lot these days. I can't seem to be joyous a lot these days. Even at Christmas, we filmed this over Christmas. There's a tree next to me, and there's not even one present under it yet. Christmas is in 4 days. I can't bring myself to go shopping. I'm just like, I'll get to it. Because I'm just like, oi. I gave him a chance, and then the cabinet started filling up with the most despicable anti-gay, anti-environment, and everything but anti-MAME, group of people in the world. The Democratic head of the FCC is leaving, and so the Republican will take that over, and so who knows what's going to happen to broadcasting. And I'm just like, I don't want to be all sad and depressed and all that.
So I've been trying to think about what it is I'm going to think about. That's what I've been thinking about. When you produce a daily radio show and a weekly TV show, you got a lot to think about, and I've been trying to think about what it is I want to think about. What do I want to bring to you guys now? Because I got to tell you, with what's in the news every day, it's kind of bleak, and you're feeling it, I'm feeling it. What are we supposed to do about it? Just ignore it like these people, I guess? We're supposed to be idiots. Ignorance is supposed to be bliss. Can we unlearn what we know? I mean, really, can we do that many drugs? It's a good thing pot's legal. I mean, really. It is Karel, and welcome to Karel Life in Segments. I don't know, Brandon just asked me for a final thought, like sort of a wrap-up for this season as we preview. Season 3 is now done, which I can't believe. And Season 4 is upon us, which I can't believe. I live in a state of current disbelief about everything, actually. Final thought. I hope this last year, with everything that's gone on, we've either made you laugh, or we've made you think, or we've made you forget, or we've made you mad, or we've made you feel, I guess, is what I'm hoping for the most. Whether you loved the show or hated the show, whether you thought there was too much of me or too little of me, whether you thought I did too many monologues or not enough, if you watched, if you listened, if you participated intellectually with me, then I can't thank you enough. It's me and Brandon and Kurt and Steve. It's our little work of love. It's the help of Free Speech TV, Alexander and Emma. It's our new friends at Reverie that are coming on board. It's all of you that continue to watch, and those of you who help finance it, the crowdsourcing at GoFundMe. So it's been a really not just interesting year for the show, but for America. I mean, how blessed am I? I have been on radio or television on 9/11, on Columbine, on almost any major event that has shaped America since Bill Clinton was in office. I have either covered it for a newspaper, covered it for radio, covered it for television, but I've been there. I've been front and center for history for so long now. And in 2016, we were front and center for America being taken over and possibly what may become the grounds of our revolution. I don't know how this is going to turn out, but we got to share it with you. And we're going to get to share Season 4 and 5, hopefully, and we're going to see where it's going, and we're going to see how it's turning out. And hopefully, once again, along the way, we can make you laugh, and we can make you cry, and we can make you angry at me, and we can make you love me, and we can make you want to hug me, and we can make you want to slap me. But all the way, we can make you feel. Because that, after all, is what makes us special, isn't it? The fact that we can love, and that we can cry, and that we can hope, and that we can persevere. Isn't that what makes us us? So thanks for Season 3. Look for us in Season 4. We're going to be all over with the show, so you'll find it everywhere. And don't forget my website, reallykarel.com, is where you can keep track of all of us, reallykarel.com. What else should I say except thank you? Thanks, you guys. This has been a ball. Can't wait to do it again. And again and again.
promotions of the Karel cast and Karel's High Tea are brought to you by Lennox, an American classic, American-made since 1889. Fine makers of tea sets, china, ornaments, dinnerware. LENOX.com from Trenton, New Jersey.